Oh, good Lord. Just like that. It's a
It's
miracle, I
Friday.
tell you.
It's Friday. Are you trying to, what are you doing? Are you tightening the screws at the back of your neck?
Yeah, otherwise my head falls off.
Well, this is what I've heard. Why couldn't you just do them like, normal Frankenstein? So they've got the bolts either side. Or is this
Well, I
the
thought I
new,
had done it, and
this is
it
the new,
sort of didn't
no,
work.
you're like that. Because it's like, hey, Phil.
Do you know how much the head weighs?
It's very, very heavy.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy. Which is why Formula One drivers who exert incredible G forces, the only thing more than that is fighter pilots. Because they're pulling up to about 8 Gs, which is unbelievable. If you've never pulled a G force, it is incredible. Even 1 G is incredible. Anyway, so Formula One drivers, because they're exerting such Gs on the corners, they train their necks. So you look at them, they've got really thick necks because they have to train their necks all the time. You and I try to do 1 lap at the speeds that they do, and we wouldn't last a lap. We really wouldn't. It's incredible, the forces on their body. I'm Russ Kane. Here's Phil Dave. This is the Midday Show. Now, the most important thing, I have to start with the first question. Have you got your digital ID card? Is that... You know what? I got to tell you, every time I think, I can't hate this clueless clown anymore, and I detest this guy. I thought, well, I can't hate him any more than I already hate him. Oh, God, he is like the Mariana Trench of crap. I don't know. It's unbelievable.
You see, here's my thing on the old digital ID front. If I thought for a second that it actually would help to control illegal immigration, or what we call illegal immigration, then 100% I'd be in favor of it.
Yeah.
But you see, here's my problem. The cynic in me, and I don't think I'm the only one, believes that they're using illegal immigration as an excuse to introduce what they've wanted to introduce all along.
Bullshit. Look, Tony Blair put this bullshit forward years ago, this digital ID, right? It's a terrible idea. We already have a driving license. We already have a passport. We have a national insurance number. Sod off. Just sod off with your bullshit. It's another control mechanism. It's absolutely disgraceful. You've got 3 forms of identification. And what? You don't think that the black market will make a fortune with fake digital IDs? You don't think they'd do that? Oh no!
Well, to be fair, if they're designed in a similar way to passports, then they won't be that easy to fake. But I know what you mean. Absolutely.
Well, how many fake passports are out there? Thousands and thousands. It's nonsense. And then what did they come up with? What are the idiots? I swear to God, I don't know if they're on drugs or they're really that thick, or they think we're that thick, because all they do is gaslight us morning, noon and night. And they said, it'll help. I read this. I thought, well, I've had a glass of Rioja. Maybe I'm misreading it. Right? Because I don't.
I have to laugh out of nerves. It's not because it's in any way funny. It's terrible.
No. We know what's coming. We're going to talk about it in a minute. I read it and said it'll help with potholes, and I thought, what? You're going to fill the potholes with? Swear to God. He goes, it'll help identifying potholes. I think, what? You're going to fill the potholes with the digital ID card so that that's smooth. How stupid do they? This is the problem. These are not intelligent people. I know that.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I don't.
Intelligent people.
But you say that, but I'm not convinced. I don't think Starmer would have got to where he is. And I don't mean prime minister. I mean in terms of the law. I don't think he'd get to where he was in terms of law if he was a stupid person. I think he believes that the British public are stupid. That's what I think it is.
That's my point. The point is, he thinks we're absolute sheep and we buy any old bullshit gaslighting that they want to do. Enough's enough. No one's buying this crap. The only good thing is that because I was so incensed, anyway, we know why they announced it when they did. It's because there's a £750,000, which has not been accounted. Well, I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want the Stasi police knocking on the door. Thank you so much.
Well, I tell you what we can say about it, because you're right. If we were to say anything, then of course we could get a knock on the door from the police, who clearly have nothing better to do with their
Nothing
time.
better to do. I mean, it's like they could catch criminals, but that would be a little bit tricky. They're all
No.
on drugs.
Don't be silly. No. They don't need to catch criminals. That's purely an optional extra. But what they could do, is they could come after us if we're not careful. So instead, I'm going to compare it to the time when, do you remember a few years back when the story of the MP's expenses scandal broke?
Absolutely, of course, yeah. Of course
okay.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember what was miraculously
the moat and the duck and that shit?
Yeah. Do you remember what was miraculously discovered at the same time, a couple of weeks after everyone was talking about it?
Was it the Holy Grail, which was
almost
oddly
almost
enough,
no, it was swine flu. Swine flu was miraculously discovered a couple of weeks after the scandal broke. And naturally, everyone stopped talking about the expenses scandal. They started talking about swine flu and how dangerous it could be. And then, of course, people stopped talking about the MP's expenses.
This all stems from some heartless swine. It was a woman, as it so happens, who put the fantastic quote from Labour, which said many years ago, "A good day to bury bad news." Do you remember that quote? A good day. So when something horrible happens, they shove out the bad news because the big story overshadows the little story. They think, I don't know if they think we just are morons or we just don't.
But I don't think they think we are, but they treat us like morons, and that's just as bad.
They treat us as like buffoons. They treat us like buffoons. And Andy, but the interesting thing about digital, and the other thing is, there was a wonderful quote which really summed it up. It's people who say, "I've got nothing to hide, therefore I will have a digital ID card," should not be allowed to have curtains in their homes.
I know. I got to be honest.
I thought that was great.
In any normal time, it's actually something I would have said. I'd say, I've got nothing to hide, therefore I don't have a problem with it. But you see, here's the problem, is that what I believe is nothing to hide and what this shower believe is nothing to hide are clearly two very different things. So the fact that I live in a day and age where, I believe I told you about this, that I had a bit of a problem on social media recently.
Just slightly.
Where I was hounded for saying something that was nothing more than a play on words.
But it was a very funny gag. I'm not going to repeat it.
Apparently, it was hideously racist. It was not.
It was not racist at all. It was a very funny gag.
But anyway, the fact that we live in a day and age where that could happen kind of makes me think, well, actually, I do fear having an ID card, not because I have anything to hide, but because actually I believe they could twist it if I'm not careful.
Well, of course they would. Of course they would. Absolutely no question about it. Here's the thing. I just want to recommend two websites to you. A lot of people, let's get like really serious for a second, because Phil is touching on something that is very close to my heart. The knock on the door from policemen who do not know what the hell they're doing, who don't fully understand the law, and play on the fact that you will be frightened. Because if you've never had dealings with the police, suddenly there's 2 or 5, to Graham Linehan, 5 armed officers, well, I don't expect that, on your doorstep, and it's all very threatening, you're going to panic. That's human nature. You've never seen these people. They're armed, they're tooled up to the teeth, and they're on your doorstep. 2 websites I would advise that I have looked at. One is called the Black Belt. These are on YouTube. And both of these people explain very clearly, coherently, and simply what to do if the police knock at your door. Now, normally we would never say this. A few years ago, would have ever been saying this to the audience of the Midday Show? No. But now the gloves are off. We see them for what they are. They're the Stasi. This is what you do. One is called the Black Belt Barrister. The Black Belt Barrister. And the other one is, he's excellent. He is a barrister. He's also a martial arts expert. The two are not connected. And the other is a chap, I hope I got his name right, Stephen Barrett. Stephen Barrett. guy with long hair, again, a lawyer.
I know, Stephen.
And so both of these people, that's the black belt barrister and Stephen Barrett, explain very simply what you can say, what your rights are, what the rights of the police are, and what they cannot do. This is the important thing, what they cannot do. Number one, I'm going to paraphrase, and Phil, if you know Stephen Barrett, you'll know where I'm going with this. Number one, stay calm. It's the most important thing. Stay calm. Do not raise your voice. Don't start shouting and screaming. And for God's sake, don't get violent, because that's what they're waiting for. Don't. Just be very, very calm. Number two, don't let them in your home. Unless it's a very, very serious crime, by which we mean murder, GBH, God forbid, rape, or something of that nature at that level, they don't have any right to come into your home. So when they say, can we come in? You go, no, thank you. And you leave them on the doorstep. You don't have to let them in. The third thing, and the most important thing, is all you have to say is, I'm sorry, I can't discuss this any further until I have my legal representation with me. And you keep repeating that phrase. I'm shotgunning, basically, what all their videos, Stephen Barrett and the Black Belt Barrister, is saying. Oh, I admire both of them. I've followed them for a long time. So don't let anybody in. I mean, if you've murdered somebody, you're on your own with this, okay? But
I was going to say, it does depend on the crime. If you have not committed a crime, then this is what to do.
What I'm talking about is the bullshit we're putting up with you've offended somebody. Now, when they're on your doorstep, they do not, be very clear, they don't have to tell you anything more about them. So if you start shouting, I want to know who did it, I want to know who reported me, I want to see your evidence, they don't have to do any of that. At that stage, they don't have to do any of that at all. So understand that. They're not obligated to show you anything at all. But the thing to say is, I cannot discuss this. Good morning, officers. Good afternoon, officers. Thank you for coming. Be very calm, be very precise, and just say, I can't discuss this until I have my legal representation. Now, the next trick that's used is, if you continue like this, we're going to have to take you down to the station. To which you reply, and by the way, you should be recording all of this. You're completely within your rights to get your mobile phone and record all of it. They can't say stop recording. You can record. Because if
you do have to. There is, I think, a law that says you do have to declare you are recording if it's to be used as evidence. So if you can say, if you want to record something, fine, but you do have to declare and saying, by the way, just for my own records, I'm going to be recording this discussion. Yeah. As long as you've declared that, you're fine.
Then you're fine. And if they start to threaten you, if they're using, well, we're going to have to take you down there, or threaten you with arrest, you say, officer, I'm very, very sorry that you said that. I've heard what you've said. I've recorded what you've said, and I will be taking this up with your superiors. They're not allowed to use the threat of taking you to a police station to influence you. If you've created a heinous crime, God forbid, I'm talking about rape, murder, you've assaulted somebody, that sort of thing, well, you're on your own with that, because you shouldn't have done that. If it's about some tweet or social media post, which is utter madness, as we know, then those are the things you have to do. But both of these people say the most important thing, whatever you do, don't rise to the bait, because they will try to bait you. Don't rise to the bait. Be very calm. Be very, very polite. And the most important thing, don't let them in unless they've got a search warrant. If they've got a search warrant, fair enough. You've done the Brinks Mac robbery. I think they're going to come in. If you've done a tweet, they have no right to come in. And just say, I'm afraid I can't discuss this any further until I have my legal representation.
Well, again, just to make it clear, you say no right. They only have no right if they have no warrant. That's the only reason.
No. I said if they've
No.
got a warrant, warrant to search your premises.
No, but you rightly say if it's just for sending a tweet, they've got no right.
Yes.
They may have a right if they have a warrant.
No,
but
if they have a warrant, of course.
But
and
if they have no paperwork, then absolutely they do not.
And remember, you can ask to see the warrant. Don't just say we've got a warrant and say, oh, please come in, because you can't get them out. I can't believe we have to have this conversation. It's appalling. That is the saddest fact of all. Because it's honestly, not going to be. It's not going to be.
I'm so over this country, like you wouldn't believe.
You and me both.
I have to tell you,
I'm done.
Right, I have to tell you that when I was in Israel recently, everyone said that I was mad for going there because I think it's obviously a war-torn country, and that how on earth could you want to go there? But I have to tell you, it was just the most blissful 2 weeks, because even though there was this threat of attack hanging overhead at every step of the way, I knew that the country was dealing with more important nonsense than whether or not someone had said hurty words. Do you know what I mean?
Or misgendered you, another load of bullshit.
So I was just able to carry on and just enjoy life, and it was just bliss. It was wonderful.
Well,
absolutely.
I've got something to say on this subject. As you can see from my background, I'm not in London, and I've come away for a few days down to the countryside. Doesn't matter where, I'm in the countryside. And within 24 hours of arriving, I realized I'm done with London. Done with it. It's over. It's over. I am rethinking my future. I'm rethinking where I want to be located. And it ain't London. Now, I'm a born and bred Londoner. I would never normally say that. Let me explain why. I realized as soon as I kind of got out of my car and wandered along where I am, that what we tolerate in London, I know this isn't a London-centric show. People are watching, Asa Don Brown's watching in America right now, people watching Australia, France and Spain. I know all that. So it's not London-centric. But
God, you're watching in Spain before flipping it. Get out of there while you still can as well.
Well, it's not like they've got form. It's not like the Spanish have got form.
Oh dear. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Sorry.
What a bunch of horses' asses they are. Anyway, I think we should just recognize Catalonia. Screw the Spanish. Recognize Catalonia. Finish. That's it. It's so fantastic, isn't it? They're so busy shoving their Spanish Iberian noses into where it's nothing to do with them. Will they recognize Catalonia? Will they grant Barcelona independence? No. Bloody Spanish hypocrites is what they are. Back to my point. So here in the country, in the rural countryside, you realize that what we are told is normal, what is under Mayor Sadiq Khan, the worst mayor in living memory, right, is, a vibrant multicultural city, is bullshit. We are putting up with stuff which we should not be tolerating. The first thing I realized, you can walk around and everyone says, good morning. And the first time
you mean like England used to be?
It's not even that. It's how life used to be. I'm not going to do this wearing rose-colored glasses. Let's all go back to 1955. It was all marvelous. I'm not talking about that. I'm a realist. I'm a realist, not a fantasist.
It was still a hell of a lot better than it is now.
Well, anything would be better than it is now. I suspect the Blitz is probably a bit better. At least you had a kindred spirit, down in the tube stations. So the first time someone said, good morning, a complete stranger, I thought, what the bloody hell do I? What have I got a sign on my door? And then, within a little time, you go, good morning, and then good morning, and you walk along. 2, you walk down the streets, you could use your phone without some little shit on an e-bike or a scooter coming up, grabbing your phone or beating the crap out of you. 3, you're not going to have some little jerk come up with a knife. Give me your phone or I kill you. Not going to happen. It's a completely different life. And I realized that the stress and the strain and the constant stupid vigilance, because Khan has created a lawless metropolis, because they're too busy about hurty words than dealing with real crime, real proper crime. And I'm done with London. I'm done with it. I've got to go. I'm going back because I've got funerals to do and stuff like that. But I'm kind of over it. And I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say that.
No, I wished I could argue against. It's impossible because I completely agree.
Yeah, but you're more like, I'm going to get out of the UK.
Well, look, let's put it this way.
Let me just say this. I just want to say this. The UK does exist. You got to find it. The UK is not London. London, I realise, is this awful bubble. And I love
for
that
sure.
city. I'm proud of that city. Well, I was. I'm not. No, you were saying, sorry.
No, I was going to say that I agree completely. But you see, here's the thing. If I'm going to go through the upheaval of moving anyway, if I am, then I would just rather go somewhere where the weather's decent, the food's nice, and actually I have a lot of love for the country. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the way that this country is behaving, yes, fair enough. It is, how can I put it? It's, even if you move to the country, you're still under the dictatorship that is Labour and Starmer's government.
But you can ignore them. When you're in London, these things seem so important. When you're surrounded by fields and charming people, total strangers, everybody's polite. You don't have that. No one's sitting there with some simmering look of hatred. And I realize that the stress you feel, and I know people are watching this from all over the world, but I'm talking about a metropolis that has just been trashed by this man, trashed by the police. I'm sorry. Trashed by the weekly hate marches. The pendulum will swing. For years and years and years, I've been saying that the pendulum, because it's so ridiculous. I mean, basically, I'm sorry, this isn't socialism. We've gone beyond socialism. There's nothing wrong with socialism. We've gone beyond that, heading towards Marxism. Heading towards Marxism. These are not nice people. They have an agenda, right? That pendulum.
No. Hang on a sec. Russ, hang on a sec.
Yeah, go on.
Don't you know it's you and me who are the nasty people? They're lovely.
What have we got? Better call Liz Hall. That's sad, Rob. London has changed a lot, and there are worries. It's my home. I don't feel comfortable there anymore. Screw it. I actually don't care if I don't see it again. I really don't anymore. I never thought I'd say that. Never. But I have rethought my future, and it's not there.
I want London back to the way it was. I think we reached a nice point in time when it was in, say, the early 90s. That's when I think it was quite pleasant. But anyway.
It was, but it's not going to come back. You know what has to happen for it to come back. That's not going to happen. And it's certainly not going to happen for the next 4 years. So when that pendulum comes back, it will be brutal. It'll be horrible. It'll be horrible. If you don't like Tommy Robinson, right, that is not scratching the surface of what's going to happen in 4 years' time. Not going to scratch.
Well, we're hurtling towards lawlessness. Absolutely hurtling. If we haven't already got it, really.
We have to, you have to say, look, you have to do things through the democratic process. I never, ever advocate violence. Okay? Never advocate violence under any circumstances. So you've got another 4 years of this, by which time the economy will be toast. And God only knows if they don't get rid of Miliband and his swivel-eyed
jeepers creepers, that guy. Ugh.
I mean, he's just... I don't know if they're mentally ill, some of these people.
I was going to say, I do actually genuinely question just how stupid he is. Because I have to assume that he doesn't practice what he preaches. I don't believe for a second that he lives in the most eco-friendly environment ever. I refuse. I don't know his house, but I doubt it. But does he really think that's all people care about?
They don't give a shit.
I know it's his job. He's obviously energy secretary or what have you.
But there's ways and means. You don't have to be a swivel-eyed lunatic fanatic to carry out policies. This is madness. This is madness. Our energy costs are disgusting. You look at it compared to the rest of the world, you go, we are being rinsed.
Well, I was looking at something this morning that suggested that energy bills are going to increase by yet another £94 per household. It's like, when does it stop? When do we actually turn around and say, enough is enough is enough? We can't do this anymore.
Well, some of the things you can say, I'm not going to comply with that. Digital ID, you can tell them to get stuff.
But how if it becomes mandatory?
Well, here's the thing about digital ID. It wasn't in their manifesto. Well, everything they've done wasn't in their manifesto because it was just a bunch of bullshit lies.
Apart from recognizing a state of a country that doesn't exist. But yes.
Next week, Narnia. And the week after that, Middle Earth. Middle Earth is going to be recognized. We're going to have a...
Oh, please, dear God, let most of them move to Middle Earth. It would suit them, I think.
Well, they look like orcs, so that's okay. So here's the thing. Because it wasn't in their manifesto, and it has to go through the House of Lords, the House of Lords could reject it, and it could all be trashed. I mean, it can't come in 5 minutes' time. It's not that simple. But you can imagine the cost of this thing. Imagine the cost of this thing. It'll be billions, absolute billions. And I don't think it'll solve one single problem. It's not, this is the argument. I'm going at a slight tangent here. In America, they could say no one should have guns. Well, everyone's got guns, right? And if I lived in America, I'd have a gun. I'll explain why in a minute. Okay. And everyone says, well, hand your guns in. Okay. So if everybody in America handed in their guns, all right, do you think the criminals would hand in theirs? No. Of course they wouldn't. They're criminals, right? They're criminals, thugs, and drug gangs. They're not handing in anything. Mr. and Mrs. Jones of 34 The High Street, they'll hand in everything. They're going to be armed with a roll of kitchen roll. That's what they're going to defend themselves with. So you will have an unarmed citizenship versus determined drug-fueled lunatics, etc. It's not going to happen, right? The same thing with digital ID. We'd all comply because we're good little citizens and we do what we're told. Do you think the gangs are going to not find the brilliant way to have it all duped and cloned? You've seen what happened to Marks and Spencer, right? They lost 300 million or something. You've
seen what outrageous amount of money.
You've seen what happened to the Co-op. You've seen, even worse, what's happened to Jaguar Land Rover. Jaguar Land Rover have been so badly hacked. These are all hacks. These are digital hacks. Jaguar Land Rover will be lucky if they can get their production back up by November. They were hacked in August or the beginning of this month. So you're going to tell me that these digital IDs are going to be secure? Online fraud is enormous. And now you're going to have all your information on one card. Oh, what could possibly go wrong? All your bank details.
And not to mention, can't you just see it?
Your NHS details.
But not to mention it, can't you just see it now? When you have digital ID will contain criminal convictions and stuff like that. Let's just say hypothetically that something goes wrong with the system, which it could very easily do. And then suddenly you have criminal convictions in inverted commas to your name that actually are not criminal convictions after all. And therefore you're totally innocent. How the hell are people ever going to live that down? They'll be affected by whether or not they can get jobs. They'll be affected by if they can get loans. Their everyday life will be affected. It would be horrendous.
How many times do you see on Facebook that someone's been hacked and they're using their name? Do you honestly think that hackers can't get into digital ID? I don't care. The government will wheel out, oh, it's encrypted, it's this, it's that. Yeah. Nothing. My cousin, this is what's just happened to my cousin, all right, who I saw the other day. She's an author. She does loads of other things as well, but she's pretty successful, got a few books out there. Some total stranger has come along on Amazon, taken her book and is selling it. Nothing to do with her at all. Can she get Amazon to stop it? No. Her publishers are trying to get Amazon to stop it. No. They have literally hijacked her book. Now, you might say, well, it's a book, Russell. Absolutely. But if they can do that, what else can they do? And then when you go
hang on a second, you wouldn't just say it's a book. You'd also say it's someone's income. It's their livelihood.
It's their revenue.
So if they can hack your cousin's income, what other income can they hack?
This is the point. But the even worse side, first of all, it's an appalling, shitty thing to do. Put that to one side. You would think you phone up, Andrew Amazon, and you say, someone has hacked my book. They've screenshot, they've done it. They've got hold of a PDF. It's not even the proper book. So the PDF looks like crap, which goes very badly against my cousin. There's spelling mistakes and all sorts. It's an original thing that they've done from an original PDF rather than the book itself. And they're selling it. You would think Amazon would say, I'm so sorry, let's get this down immediately. No. Even worse, they say to my cousin, well, you're not the author. And they're going, of course it's me. It's me. Oh, well, it's not
dear,
the same.
oh dear.
And then they go, well, it's not the same email address. It's not you. It's me. I had another email address for my books as an author. So all the revenue, it's on Kindle. So all that revenue is going to some scammers, wherever they might be.
Unbelievable.
And they can't get it stopped. And you think, what the hell? Now, if they can do that, what else can they do? You know that. They stopped Marks and Spencer's. They stopped the Co-op. They've stopped Jaguar Land Rover. What else? Don't tell me this is safe. It's not safe. Not safe at all.
I genuinely do actually sometimes, and this is in spite of being a techie, it is in spite of being actually online right here, right now with you. Yeah. I do sometimes genuinely wish we could go back to a day and age when no one's online.
Analog.
Yeah.
Analog. Were we any worse off? No.
If anything, we were better off.
I've said this so many times, when I was at Capital and people who were, I'm going to put it politely, nuts, would write to us, and you have no idea the letters we would get. There's always a sign, because they were in green ink.
Yes.
They were in green ink.
I'm going to disappear for 2 seconds. I am listening to you, but I'm going to clear the pipes, and this is not very nice to do on air. So
thank Christ for that. Yeah, go away. Go. Anyway, we'd get the letters in green ink, and you'd read it, and you think, you're really not well. You need professional help. But when you think about it, they had to get some stationery, write the letter by hand, find an envelope, find a stamp, get off their backsides, go to a post box. They had to make a bit of an effort, all right, before they cause all sorts of, I could tell you stories and you just wouldn't, if I told you the stories, you really wouldn't believe them, the stuff that we would receive at Capital. You think, and these people are out there, they've got the vote, and they can drive, or they could be standing next to you in a bus queue. I mean, scary as hell. I mean, it's scary. Huh?
That's definitely the thing I think that gets me more than anything is when you have these, as you rightly describe, some as lunatics, have the right to vote. That's what worries me.
Well, Philip has made a point. This story broke this morning. A nursery has been hacked, and they're being threatened with having children being posted online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fine. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. So the point I'm trying to make is that in the old days, I'm not saying they're better days, I'm just saying they're the old days, you'd have to go to a lot of trouble to send a letter. Now, you sit in your mum's spare room in your underpants, with a picture of Che Guevara on the wall, or whatever the hell you want to do, bish, bash, bosh. And because it isn't in green ink and because it's neatly printed, you think, oh, this must be rational. No, it's just as bonkers as the people who used to write in green ink and sending incredible things. I mean, just one of the things, never forgot. You are ruining my marriage.
Oh.
You are ruining my marriage.
That's a clever trick.
Because you are sending codes with the music that you play. I didn't play any music, of course. I wasn't on the music side. You are ruining my marriage because it's very obvious that you are sending codes with your choice of music. I spoke to this woman. I actually phoned this woman. It was on beautiful headed note paper, and I phoned. And within about 30 seconds, I realized, oh my God. And I said, well, if you're that worried, please contact the police. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not in charge of programming. I have no influence. Contact the police. I phoned the police. They don't believe me. And I'm thinking, I wonder why.
No kidding.
What, really? Really? Why is that? Why is that? Why don't they want us to investigate? And the worst thing was, this person lived next door. I'm not going to say who it is. A broadcaster friend of mine, very well known, lived next door and had the keys to their house. And when I told my friend, the broadcaster, they were horrified. Yeah, I know. You couldn't make it up. You could not make it up. Oh, what is this? I always sat in my... oh, the tennis poster. The tennis poster, yeah, from Athena. Thank you, Leslie. Leslie Jones, thank you very much indeed. That was a tennis poster. That was a great poster, wasn't it? It was fun. Couldn't do it now, obviously, because it's insulting to tennis players, I guess. Yeah, Edward Lloyd. Hello, Edward. Thank you for joining us. Edward Lloyd, marvelous man. Follow Edward on Facebook. Great guy. Terrible story about the hacked Amazon author. It's my cousin. But the worst part for me, it's not that a crook has thought, I know what I'll do. I'm going to take this book, I'm going to hack it, and I'll get the revenue on Kindle. It's that Amazon are saying, well, you're not the author. I am the author. I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but wow. This is the problem. It's not on our side. None of this is on our side. It's the crooks who know how to manipulate.
This is why it just seems so unbelievably screwed up. I just don't understand. You know, whatever anyone thinks about this day and age, some might say it's better than the old days. I don't know. I don't really care. But what I do care about is the way that those who are clearly and quite obviously to anyone with half a brain guilty of something appear to get off lightly. Look at these vile idiots who performed at Glastonbury, who their acts of terrorism against them were dropped today. They were openly chanting death to a democratic army, but that's not act of terrorism. That's not encouraging violence. That's not anything that apparently worth breaking the law. No, that's fine. But if you go and try and stand up to these lunatics who are pro-Hamas every single week and wave an England flag in their face, you're racist. The country is insane.
My favorite of all of that was the police coming up to a guy in a crowd, and you can hear the dialogue, so it's not apocryphal. You are openly Jewish, and you're causing a threat. The guy's on his own. What's he going to do? Hit them with a bagel? I mean, what's he going to do? Standing there on his own, for Christ's sake. Asa Don Brown in northeast United States. Hi, Asa. The following is my prescription for the people of the UK. Well, one, get out. I highly recommend V for Vendetta, yep. The Patriot, yep. And Braveheart, yep. All good films. All good films. Absolutely. All good films. But the problem with that, Asa, I
don't like Mel Gibson.
Oh, well, I can't stand Mel Gibson. May I bless you for that. I hope all things are good with you. The problem with all of those films, I'll pop them up so you can see them again, that they are resolved through violence. They are resolved through revolution. They are resolved through open conflict. You can't do that. You can't do that.
It's very, but you know what is actually bizarre? No, but you know what's bizarre is that I think that it's been so long now, probably some of the longest in human history, without any major conflict in this part of the world, where, of course, not only one generation, but I suppose swathes of generations have never experienced violence on that level.
Yeah.
And I guess that it's so foreign to people. This is actually the main reason why so many people can't get their heads around who is right and wrong in the Middle East. Because, let's not get into the whole Israel thing now. We know full well.
I really don't want to for one.
No,
minute.
I know, but anyone with half a brain knows Israel's the good guys, knows that Hamas are the bad side. I mean, if you don't know that. I was
having dinner with Javier Bardem and his wife Penelope Cruz last night, and he didn't agree.
Anyway, this is what it is. I mean, I'm not being funny, but it's up to an individual not to be clever enough to know that. But let's put that to one side. It's more about how, because that is so foreign to them that they can't get their heads around, that actually some countries do have to fight for their mere existence. And we are so clearly going that way if we're not careful.
All right, let me put my hand in the hornet's nest, which is a phrase I like to use. Let's just go there. What happens? What do you think would happen?
Or this country went to war?
No. What do you think? I am not, I want to make it very, very clear. I am not advocating this. I'm 100% against this. I'm positing a hypothetical question. I don't want any nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone said, right, we've had enough, we're going to have a revolution. What do you actually, it's no good saying, and the people would take to the streets, and what?
No, I don't think that's no, that's not the revolution. It's sort of people will protest. They always have done, for as long as that, since the dawn of time, people have protested. And it doesn't really make much of a difference. I mean, I suppose the suffragettes might argue with that, but not many other people would.
Okay.
But let's put that to one side. I'm talking more about the way that this country is so ill prepared for the inevitability of war. And I'm afraid it's going to stem from one of the oldest known causes of war known to man. And that is, of course, religion. What's clearly going to happen is that there are people in this world who, for whatever ridiculous reason, believe that their way is the right way and everyone else is wrong. And that if anyone doesn't agree with them, they are either an infidel or they are basically a waste of space and therefore shouldn't live. So it is sort of like almost an inverted Nazism that we're seeing, from fundamentalists. But what annoys me is that the thing that hinders this more than anything is the way that people can't distinguish the difference between people who are true peace-loving Muslims and those who are fundamentalists. And that's what stops. This is why this is getting so out of control, is because people don't have the backbone to turn around and say, you are no Muslim, you are an insult to Islam, and therefore you're a threat that we have to deal with. You're a peace-loving Muslim who clearly just wants to get on with your everyday life and blend into British society. Therefore, you're on our side, we protect you. Now, where I think it doesn't help too much is the way that, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who do follow Islam in a peaceful way, who regrettably are, I think, as intimidated as many others are to actually sort of not speak out against the fundamentalists.
When have they ever spoken out? This is the problem.
But it makes it very tricky.
Because they're scared. I get that. They're scared.
But also, it might be worse than that. It may well be the case that there are some people, even within their own families, who are a bit more extreme and therefore do believe in certain things. Therefore, they'd be speaking against their family, possibly their friends, right? So it is very tricky. I get it. It's not as black and white as just sort of saying someone's an extremist, someone's not. But unfortunately, until society turns around and sort of says, right, this constitutes fundamental behavior, and therefore this will not be tolerated, things are not going to change. In fact, it's only going to get worse.
My problem is this, and I come back to my pendulum hypothesis, that when it swings the other way, in 4 years' time, this government will be eviscerated. They will be wiped off the political map. They're done. They won't get back for 1 or 2 generations. They will lose everything, which is why they're going for the extreme vote. You know it, I know it, because they're going to fight all the marginal seats, and the marginal seats will swing. That's why they're trying to appease. You can't appease. You can't. Neville Chamberlain, how did that work out for you, Neville? Piece of paper, not worth a piece of Andrex when you come down to it. All right? So you can't appease. But when that pendulum swings, it'll be horrible and it'll be brutal. And all the people who kept quiet and all the people who didn't speak out are going to get caught up. It'll be a maelstrom. It'll be an absolute maelstrom. But what you cannot have is everyone saying, right, all bets are off. Anybody you don't like the look of, any immigrant, anybody like that, you can have a pop at. No, that is awful. That's absolute anarchy. And that's what I fear. That's what I fear will happen. We don't want that. That's not.
Well, to be honest, it's already happening in some parts of the Western world. Not that it makes it right, of course, but it
doesn't make it right.
Looks like it looks like there are some, but of course then it's going to get worse than that, is because then what's going to happen is the lines are going to blur. There are going to be people who think someone is, say, an illegal migrant, but probably someone who's here legally, decent, hardworking, tax-paying citizen of the United Kingdom, and they're going to be caught up because of this nonsense.
You know it. You know it. Because it'll be a passport. It'll be knock yourselves out to every nutter who likes a bit of aggro and likes a bit of violence. It'll be Christmas Day for soccer hooligans. I mean, we don't want that. No one is advocating that. But at the same time, do us all a big, huge favor and stop labeling everyone who doesn't agree with your mad policies as a far right knuckle dragging thug. That's really lovely to the men and women, grandmothers, grandfathers, grandchildren, people in wheelchairs, babies in pushchairs. They're not knuckle dragging thugs. They're people who disagree with you. That doesn't make them Nazis. It makes them people who don't agree with your policies. That's what it means.
And funnily enough, given that the government got in on 34% of the population voting for them, there's probably quite a lot of people who do disagree with them. Yeah.
Well, they're going to find that out. Everyone say, well, we can't survive another 4 years. How on earth are we going to? Starmer won't last another 4 years. That's guaranteed. He'll go.
There is something curious, though, that actually, constitutionally speaking, I know we don't have a constitution, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Technically speaking, as far as British law is concerned, there is something that could indicate that we might even be hurtling towards an election as soon as 2027. And that is, I believe, I'm right in saying, something to do with IMF projections. And if the country carries on the trajectory it's on at the moment, then the country is in danger of being declared bankrupt by 2027. If by 2027 the country is declared bankrupt, then by law, I think we have to dissolve the government and then have another election. So that it is possible that it will be as soon as 2027.
Okay.
But let us hope that the country doesn't get declared bankrupt, because that's not going to be great either.
Well, it won't be great, but I can see it coming because I can't see any other policies. You can't tax everybody until the pips squeak. I mean, you just can't. And John Ambrose, hello, John. This country is. Do you want to put that up again? No longer safe. Well, yeah. Well, it's kind of London where it's not safe, and the metropolis in Birmingham. Let's not kid ourselves. All those
Birmingham,
places.
Dear oh dear, what a disaster zone.
Yeah. One of my kids emigrated, lives in America. We have differing views on a lot of things. And he feels there's going to be another civil war there. And now I thought in America there was going to be a civil war. I've thought there would be a second civil war. I could easily see that. Over there, because everyone's armed to the teeth, it would be horrendous. Over here, and let me say this, because I thought about this a lot. The Tommy Robinson, call it the Tommy Robinson March. I don't know what other. Put it under that umbrella, okay? The Tommy Robinson March. I've never met Tommy Robinson. I had no idea if I would get on with him or we'd loathe each other. I don't know, but whatever. That Tommy Robinson March, when, let's say conservatively, 120,000 people marched, probably a lot more, because whatever the BBC, multiply it by several factors. BBC, Sky News, Jesus. Anyway, not the point. My point was this. all the people peacefully, and well done, Susan Hall. Well done, Susan Hall, for skewering the deputy mayor. Brilliant, brilliant ambush. Absolutely brilliant. If you didn't see it, I'll explain in a sec. 150, let's say, all right, tone it down. Say 100,000 people. It was much more, but say 100. They marched. And what? I understand why they're there. I understand their frustration. I understand their anger. But what? What difference? What? This is what's so depressing. What difference? What are they going to do? They're not going to attack Parliament. And even if they did, so yeah, they'd be rebuffed. And it's a shocking thing to do. But, what? Do you see what I'm saying? I understand protest. But so what? So what?
Well, I think don't underestimate the power of protest for actually the individuals who go on those protests. So even if they make no difference, there actually is something, I believe, quite reassuring for people who maybe think like that's almost mental health and well-being, if you like, to know that there are other people out there who think the way they do. Because if you are in danger of feeling like this way of thinking, you're isolated, you're on your own. I hope most people know now they're not. But if they feel that, then that could be quite damaging. So actually, I think that there is some merit to protest.
The other thing which is extraordinary, there was a couple of people in America that I always followed. And boy, oh boy, I don't now. One was Tucker Carlson.
Oh dear.
No. I thought a lot of what he used to say, past tense say. Now I think, what the hell has happened to you? Even worse than Tucker Carlson. Candace Owens. Holy God. I don't know if she's having some sort of, I don't know what's happened to this person. Because I used to watch her stuff. Now, understand them. This is on the Daily Wire. Millions of people watch this. This isn't like, me and Phil talking to you guys. This is millions of people. Millions.
Well, don't underestimate our following.
All right. We're right up there with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan. We're right up there. Of course we are. Joe Rogan's very worried.
That's the sort of like the Holy Trinity. Well, it's not Trinity. It wasn't like whatever number.
The point about it is, and you think, and suddenly these people just turn. You think, you've become a monster.
Mm-hmm.
What, have you drunk the Kool-Aid? What has happened to you? You were sensible. You were. Now, Candace Owens is going to get a monstrous smack in the mouth, metaphorically, because she did a number of specials all about Brigitte Macron. I am no fan of Macron at all. I think he's loathsome. However, Candace Owens has maintained and proven her facts, I'm not saying they are the facts, that Brigitte Macron is actually a man or was born a man. So you've got the wife of the French president having to resort to, I am going to show you medical proof. Well, holy God, how we ever got to this position, no one knows. But we have. We are where we are. And of course, the Macrons are now saying, okay, you've said all this thing to millions and millions of people, and now we're going to show you medical proof, and we're going to sue you for every penny you've got. How did we get like this? This is like some people disputing over who owns the bins when your neighbours. I mean, this is just bonkers. This is the president of.
Oh, you missed a trick. I thought you were going to say this is just garbage.
Well, it is garbage. It is garbage. Yeah.
What I don't understand, though, is
that show. It's a great show.
Even if
probably my favorite show. Great guys. Yeah.
What I don't understand is even if there was any truth in Brigitte Macron's gender, right?
Yeah.
Even if there was truth in it, genuinely, so what? I don't care.
We're not married to her. What the hell do we care?
But I literally don't care. I couldn't care less if I tried.
But try. No, I mean, this is the great thing. It's like we're supposed to be outraged about everything. I don't care. You know, this week, the daughter of oh Christ, I've forgotten the bloody Ben Affleck and whoever he was married to at the time.
Jennifer
Daughter,
Aniston.
no, the daughter spoke. She's 19, and I think needs a bit of help between you and I. And she spoke at the United Nations wearing a mask, insisting that everybody should be mandatory to everyone wear masks all the time. And I'm thinking two things. I'm reading this shit, and I'm thinking to myself, one, she's a 19-year-old idiot. She's not famous. She's just the daughter of an actor, right? Why is the United Nations allowing this nonsense to be propagated? Masks don't work.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. United Nations, as we know, are just completely pointless. So
yes, the United Nations should be defunded along with UNRWA and everything else. But all right, put that to one side. And I'm thinking, who thinks this is a great idea? I know we'll get someone who needs a bit of help, a little bit of advice here, and she'll speak wearing a mask, right? And I'm thinking, I don't. But the point was, I thought, I don't give a monkey's what you think. You're of no interest to me any more than I'm of any interest to her. I don't care what you think. It's irrelevant.
It's so
I don't
bizarre.
know you. I'm not interested in your views. You're 19 and you're only there because you're the daughter of somebody in Hollywood. I don't care. It's the same thing as Phil says. I don't care if Bridget Macron was born as a giraffe. I don't care. It's none of my business. You know, if they're happy.
Mind you, the way she carries her polo neck, maybe she was.
Well, it could be the fact that the polo neck is this big. It's this big. What do we got? We've got Leslie Ian Jones says, Phil, you might assess this. Greta Thunberg deported last time. Will Israel jail her? Oh, God, who the hell knows? She's crazy.
Well, let's put it this way, Leslie. If Israel had nothing better to do at the moment, then I'd say, yeah, more than likely. But I don't think that they need yet another problem where Sweden starts chiming in and saying, free the Swedish one, if you know what I mean. So I don't personally think they would go down that route, just for no other reason than they don't need to waste time with her. But maybe technically they'd have every right to do so, because she, as you rightly identified, did break deportation law. So who knows? She's just ridiculous.
Moron, isn't she?
But she's pointless. She's so completely and utterly irrelevant. That I just don't understand why people even give her the time of day.
But why are people paying for this? Who has always paid for Greta Thunberg since she was an
free the Swedish meatball one? But anyway,
free. The great thing about so much of life is all these people are so
free the flat pack. Anyway.
I like IKEA. I can never find my way out, but I like IKEA. And I do like their meatballs.
On the plus side, if you do get stuck in there after closing time, at least there's always a bed to sleep on.
Yeah, we got to make it.
That's true.
So I've fallen at the first hurdle. You know, me and a spanner, me and an Allen key, I'm screwed. So much of life, of what is forced down our throats, is this. You got to let, and you think, one, you're an idiot. Two, I have no interest in what you're saying. Three, you have no influence over anything, especially Hollywood actors, especially what's that? Oh God, Olivia Colman, Benedict Cumberbatch, and all those Brian Eno. Screw you. Because I know Phil's going to have to go at one. I might go on for a little bit. Boycotts work both ways. Boycotts are not a one-way street.
And I'll tell you something else.
What? Go on.
Boycotts are pointless. Absolutely pointless.
But I won't buy Ben and Jerry's.
No, they're only for the individual's benefit. I'm not being funny. They're never going to change anything else. So, but anyway, alas.
So you've got to go.
Curiously, by the way, you know, Ben and Jerry's is actually still sold in Israel.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, no, it is. But anyway, on that happy note,
Cheers.
Ice cream. Right.
Yeah,
See you soon.
Bye bye. Thank you, Phil. The great Phil Dave there. And I'm thrilled because my internet lasted a whole hour. Now, Asa, you got time to stick with me for a little bit, gang? We've everybody got to dash off. You probably all got jobs. Asa Don Brown, who's watching this from the live in the northeastern United States, I found that we're not entering a civil war. That's in America. But if this was to occur, it would be the result of the woke and extreme cultures. Yeah, like the people who shot Charlie Kirk. Huh? The shot that was heard around the world. At this point, I'm more concerned for Canada. Oh, Canada. Dear God. I used to love Canada. I thought, what a wonderful place to be. Wow, would you want to go now? But again, there's places, just like in England, where you can go, and Scotland, etc., etc. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. I never take your company for granted. Thank you for your wonderful comments, and as I always say, playing along, because your comments, they drive the show. Anyway, that's that. That's it for another week. Thank you. I'll be back with Neil Longy Long on Monday. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Stay safe. And those two things that I recommend you watch on YouTube, one is the Black Belt Barrister, and the other is the great Stephen Barrett. Watch those videos because information and being armed with the right information in these wild times is so important. Until Monday, take care. And as I always say, no hurty words.